Thank you, Mr. Morrison. And I, too, am grateful for the leadership and friendship that Senator Kyle has shown to me over time, and I wish him and his family well. Let me ask you, Mr. Morrison, do you would you like to submit your full statement for the record?
Mr. Chairman, I would.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Ambassador and Mr. Morrison, how do you differ? Let's take a minute or two. Ambassador Gottmuller, you would sign a treaty and you would continue to modernize.
Yes, sir. And this is consistent with the findings and recommendations of the Strategic Posture Commission report. We found that the program of record for nuclear triad modernization is necessary but not sufficient. And so I actually agree with the notion that we need to think carefully about the threat that is presented by two nuclear peers, by China and by the Russian Federation going forward. And we need to make judicious choices juxtaposed against the other demands on our defense budget. And I mentioned the conventional force posture, but also the new technologies that are coming our way and must be judiciously incorporated into our new weapon systems, as well as the whole arena of cyber threats and how we are going to contest the Russians and the Chinese in that space.
All right, Mr. Morrison, would you memorialize that in a new treaty for 1 year or more?
Senator, when the Trump 45 administration had an opportunity to consider this question, we stepped back and we looked at not just what the Russian force was doing, but also the Chinese force, and we've talked a bit about that this morning. One of the things that former Secretary of State Pompeo stated was that under New START, quote, only 45% of Russia's nuclear arsenal was subject to numerical limits. Meanwhile, that agreement restricts 92% of America's arsenal, end quote. Where we approached this question in the prior Trump administration was, let's look at an agreement that captures the total force, not just strategic weapons.
Was it a bad deal?
Senator, I believe that the New START treaty was a bad deal.
All right. Okay, Admiral Richard, here you are. You're the tiebreaker. Do I get to go to Hollywood or not?
Senator, first, to be very direct on the answer to your question, I would not recommend a 1-year extension to the New START treaty absent verification procedures being reinstated. I am on record testifying in front of this committee that arms control, as Ambassador Gottmuller mentioned, if done correctly, enhances strategic deterrence, enhances certainty, enhances confidence. But it has to include all parties, it has to include all weapons, and it has to have verification mechanisms built in with consequences for noncompliance.
By all parties, you mean multilateral?
Multilateral.
Okay, go
yes,
ahead.
at a minimum, I would include Russia, China, and the United States in any arms control agreement. Absent that, simply extending the New START treaty for 1 year does not constrain Russia to the same way that it constrains us. It prevents us from answering the challenge that China has added to this, and it increases the uncertainty because it doesn't have the verification mechanisms built in that were so successful in the past.
Admiral, there may be some people in our viewing audience who are thinking, I thought we were going to have Golden Dome, and we thought this was going to take care of protecting us from the threat of nuclear weapons. Would you explain on the record and for the listening public what the problem is with that sort of viewpoint?
I would strongly endorse the drive to protect the continental United States with a Golden Dome. I think we have real-world experience from the Middle East in terms of how that enhances defense, deterrence, provides more options to our leadership, and I would like those same benefits to be applied to the United States. That said, I think a lesson out of the events in Israel is that deterrence by denial, which is what a defensive system like Golden Dome does, has to always be backed up by the threat of deterrence by cost imposition. Otherwise, your opponent has no incentive to stop shooting.
Well, tell us what by cost imposition means for the layman.
For the layman, it's offensive, right? That you have the ability to strike back. And the threat of that will influence your opponent in a way that they will choose restraint as their least bad option.
And that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about our nuclear deterrence posture.
Our entire nuclear deterrence posture is designed to, by threat of escalation, convince your opponent, have a perception in your opponent's mind that restraint, inaction, is their least bad course of action. And that has been successful for over 60 years in deterring not only nuclear attack on the United States and our allies, but has made a great contribution to the deterrence of great power war.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Reed.
Thank you much, Mr. Chairman.